can't tell you, Gala. If you can't see it, then you'll just never know it. Can you see it? It's right here in front of me, right now. Watch. And the dimensions and all the prisms and the rays and everything coming down through you and moving.
Far weirder than you think.
It's here. It's here. It's here. I'm part of it. Can't you see it? It passed right through. I heard it. I can't tell you, Gala. If you can't see it, then you'll never know. Here.
Your Royal Highness, Your Serene Highness, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, friends of the Royal College of Music, good evening. It's my great honour and pleasure to welcome you to our college for our More Music virtual gala. Tonight is exceptional on so many different levels. Exceptional because it marks the unveiling of the new RCM Museum, from where we will, as always, be hearing some superb music. Exceptional because of your generosity. And exceptional above all else because we, the RCM family, are here to support that noblest of causes, the education of the most talented young musicians from across the globe, whose future careers in music depend on our support. At the heart of tonight's music making are talented students and alumni from our college. Hearing them is just one of so many reasons I am proud to be chairman of council. They are the future of music, and that is a cause to which I am wholly committed. I'm joined this evening by our director, Professor Colin Lawson, and by Lily Harris, Director of Development and Alumni Engagement. Also joining us tonight are many of my fellow members of council, all of whom do so much to support the work and development of the college. I am deeply grateful to them all for everything that they do. We are also hugely indebted to the work of Jeff Richards, chairman of the More Music campaign, and to his campaign committee, who have helped make tonight's event such a success. As I think you all know, at the beginning of last year, our ambitious plans were close to fulfilment, thanks to the generosity and kindness of our supporters. Without your commitment to philanthropy, this extraordinary project would never have happened. We achieved practical completion of our new building just days before the first lockdown in March 2020, which was then, of course, the most significant disruption in our 140-year history. It's not been an easy year, and we've taken a £5 million financial hit as a result of the pandemic. But we remain resilient and above all optimistic, and that is down to you and to the strength of the RCM family. We are hugely grateful for your support. Above all else, we've remained committed to ensuring the best possible student experience. Looking after the musicians of the future and our ambassadors is absolutely central to everything we do. Your generosity this evening will support our core activities, ensuring that our work will change lives through performance, community initiatives, and global collaboration. Thank you so very much. This evening is possible thanks to the support of lead sponsors Jeff and Val Richards, and also presenting patrons Kathy and Christopher Clark, Peter and Annette Dart, Her Serene Highness Princess Heidi von Hohenzollern, Ruth and Jeff Keach, Sir Peter and Lady Middleton, Michael Needley, Richard and Sue Price, Catherine Quinn, Lady Victoria Roby, Dasha Schenkman, Elizabeth Sutherland, Sir Peter and Lady Walters, Bruno Wang and Cyril Gonzalez, and Quentin and Sarah Williams. And indeed, all of you who are supporting the college by attending this evening. And now, of course, to the most important reason we're all here, to make more music possible. At the RCM, we want to nurture the most outstanding talent from across the globe, whatever a student's background or means. So all proceeds from tonight's gala will go directly to the programmes which support this aim, including our outreach work in the junior department and RCM Sparks. It is all so vitally important. Please give, if you can, to our raffle. We have some great prizes. Colin and I, as you may have seen, feature in one of them, and you can buy tickets throughout the evening, and more from Colin and Lily on that shortly. And now we come to the main event. More music is the order of the day, and we're going to be treated this evening to inspiring musical performances from our talented students, world-renowned alumni and RCM ambassadors. But just before we do, there is a very special message. In our President, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, who is also patron of our More Music campaign, we are indeed fortunate to have someone who loves our college and is committed to the future of music. He wanted to say a few words to us, so with my grateful thanks, I leave you with our President, and please enjoy the evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to welcome you all to this evening's second More Music virtual gala in support of our Royal College of Music. This is the second time we have gathered in this virtual form, and I'm delighted to learn that the first More Music virtual gala was such a success in supporting our students and the scholarships program. I'm sure, therefore, that you will join with me in offering our special thanks to the college's artistic director, Stephen Johns, and the talented alumni and students who are performing this evening. The Royal College of Music, of which I'm enormously proud to be president, is one of the world's great conservatoires, providing music education and professional training at the highest international level. The college embraces the ideals of an inclusive, open and just society, supporting students from diverse backgrounds, and is fully committed to our founding principles of excellence, advocacy and access. The programs that support these principles, which you are so generously supporting this evening, play a vital part in ensuring that all this can continue. As president of the Royal College of Music and patron of the More Music campaign, it makes me extremely proud that Prince Albert's founding vision remains an inspiration to this day. And I'm delighted that together we are ensuring excellence in music education and making a significant difference to the lives of generations of students. Now, if I may, I would like to offer my particular gratitude to Jeff Richards and the campaign committee for their tireless commitment, to our chairman, Lord Black, our director, Professor Colin Lawson, to all our More Music patrons, and to Lily Harris and her team for organising this exceptional evening. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for your continued and most generous support for the Royal College of Music.
Good evening and welcome to the More Music Virtual Gala, Reimagining Our Future. I'm Colin Lawson, Director of the College, and I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Lily Harris, Director of Development and Alumni Engagement, live from the Amaryllis Fleming Concert Hall. First of all, I must thank our President, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, for joining us this evening and for his kind words. Thank you, Guy, for that enthusiastic introduction. We're very grateful for all your leadership as Chairman of the College. Thank you for all your support and for joining us at this special event. Our thanks also to Sir George Iacobescu, who is our newest presenting patron for this evening. Today is a special occasion for more than one reason, and I hope you will join me in wishing a very happy birthday to celebrated composer, alumnus and colleague Joseph Horowitz, who turns 95 today. His association with the college dates back well over 70 years. Tonight, we are delighted to share experiences from our RCM ambassadors, the unveiling of the new museum, insight into the vital work of our junior department, and of course, more music making from our talented students and alumni. May I remind you that the raffle closes at 8 p.m. So this is your final opportunity to buy tickets and have the chance to win one of 5 fantastic prizes, including a private concert for you and up to 12 guests from the Grinzing Trio. Details of how to purchase tickets are on the Gala website and in the email you received earlier. Good luck. You'll be hearing more from Lily and me later on this evening, but now is the time for music, starting with a performance of Take the A-Train from the RCM Jazz Orchestra and a special message from one of the world's most beloved vocalists, Andrea Bocelli, and his wife Veronica Berti, who with Community Jameel are leadership supporters of our scholarship programme.
To find the quickest way to get to Harlem. Well, if you should take the A-train, you'll find you get where you're going if you hurry, 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 hurry. Now it's coming, oh, oh, can't you hear the rails are humming? Get with it, well, if you should take the A-train. You'll find you get where you're going if you hurry, hurry. Shwa-ba-ba-dee-da, squab-ba-ba-dee-da, oh you cool, oh you cool. Shwa-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-do-ow, about-do-ow. I ain't mad at you, pretty baby. Don't be mad at me. Oh, bop, shabam, I could come up. I screw by you, do by you, do da. Squab, baba, do da 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 da. Oh, you, me, and you. I cover the waterfront. I cover the waterfront. Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Got no money. Shabba, baba, you da, squab, baba, you da, do you da, do you da, do you da, da. So, baba, baba, do da da da. skadoo-dee-doo, skee-da-bee-oo-dee-da-doo-down. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, squab-ba-da-dee-dow. Ow, ow, 2 left feet, but oh so neat is sweet Georgia Brown. Laura is a face, sha-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-doo-da-doo-ba-doo-doo. Ain't much to look at and nothing to see. I got my train waiting for me, I'm waiting for the A-train.
Georgina Jackson. That's Georgina Jackson.
Good evening, everybody. This is Veronica and Andrea Bocelli. Andrea and I decided to send this message to all of you from the place where the only music you can hear is the music that Andrea has been addicted all his life, the music of nature.
Io però sogno un mondo in cui si possa sorridere di quel sorriso che solo la musica può accendere. Quindi rivolgo un augurio, un incoraggiamento a tutti i ragazzi che studiano la musica, perché la musica è fonte di vita, di sorrisi e di leggerezza.
That's why we really are proud to have a beautiful scholarship, the Andrea Bocelli Foundation Community Jamil scholarship. inside the Royal College of Music. And we can wait to see a lot of new musicians coming out with a lot of amazing emotion in their heart. Good luck to all of you.
Bye. Good luck.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diana Salazar. I'm Director of Programmes at the Royal College of Music. I'm delighted to be here tonight, joined by 3 former and current JD students, that's junior department students from the college, who will be talking to me about their experiences of the junior department. Every Saturday during term time, this building is bustling with excitement as over 300 young musicians come to the college to participate in the junior department. On a typical Saturday, the building is filled with activities from one-to-one lessons to musicianship classes, orchestra, choirs, and much more going on. This is all supervised by specialist teachers and of course led by our fantastic Miranda Francis, Head of Junior Programmes. Now, while the junior department takes place only 1 day a week, it's an incredibly important part of the college. As we all know, musicians need time and specialist input to become professionals. So it's incredibly important that we have our junior department there to help young musicians grow and realise their full potential. Now, I'm joined today by a range of current and former JD students who will help us to find out more about the atmosphere on a typical Saturday. From my own perspective, having been at the junior department on Saturdays, I've found it to be an environment full of warmth and support, but also really distinctive in the aspiration and the ambition, and also the focus on achieving one's musical goals. But I think we can find out a lot more from our guests here tonight. And I'm going to start with Jackie. Jackie, you are a current junior department student and you're a pianist. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about you as a musician and what you're working on at the moment.
So currently, I have piano lessons every Saturday with my teacher. Currently, we're working on some more repertoire, new repertoire I'm starting, so maybe some Beethoven and some Brahms. I also do some other musicianship lessons at the college, so maybe like music aesthetics also, which I really enjoy, and I think the teachers are really devoted to the students, which I think helps us learn a lot better.
That's great to hear, and I believe you're also a composer as well, is that right?
Yeah, sometimes every week I also do composition lesson. I do it with my professor, and currently we're working on a set of pieces I'm doing right now based on the zodiac constellations. I'm working on it meanwhile also for an orchestration, which I'm going to start soon.
Fantastic, I can't wait to hear it. So could you tell us a bit about how your experiences at the junior department have shaped who you are as a musician?
I think it's influenced me a lot as a musician because working with other people is a different experience than solo repertoire, playing on yourself. And I think just that atmosphere of being in a lesson with other people can really make you learn a lot more than one-to-one lessons, because other people, you're listening to their ideas, and I think that's what's more important.
Yes, there's something really special about that learning community, isn't there? So could you tell us a bit about where you'd like to go, what your career ambitions are?
For me, I think I'd probably want to be a pianist or a musician. I also is interested in doing composition and conducting as well. I have some group lessons in the RCM right now this year. Yeah, I think piano is probably the biggest thing right now, but I think all around I want to be a musician.
That's fantastic, and it's great to hear how the junior department is helping to support all of your many and varied interests as a musician.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Dennis. And Dennis, I know that you're a former junior department student and you've moved on to other things. Could you tell us a bit about you as a musician now and what you're working on?
Absolutely. Firstly, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And ever since moving on from the junior department, I have pursued my my contemporary interests, my pop music interests. I've actually sort of really become involved in pop music as an artist, as a singer, and I've been working on a lot of different things, performance-wise, from various touring opportunities, performances. I actually have a performance coming up quite soon, just across the road at Royal Albert Hall, and I'm also working on an EP. A collection of 5 tracks, 5 different songs that I've been working on, and just tightening everything up, getting all the pieces together, getting everything from the sound to the vocal to the visual aspects that come along with that, and preparing it. And it's an incredible journey, and it's something that I'm so great to have had RCM be the start and the real catalyst for everything that I've gone on to do since.
It sounds like you're really busy and there's lots going on
Yes,
for you.
absolutely.
And some might say that what you're exploring now in popular music is quite different to what you were looking at in the junior department. But could you tell us about how you still apply some of what you learned in the junior department?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And something that I think is interesting to share as well is today, when I walked in to the Royal College and I sort of stepped in for the first time after the renovations, and I looked to my left, I saw this beautiful wall of a historic building right next to a brand new area where a few people, socially distanced, of course, there were probably 2 people in the room, were sort of there studying and working, and it sort of really showed this, what I think is quite a unique characteristic of the Royal College, is that it can seamlessly blend the old and the new, and it's not really a clash so much as 2 very different things which work well together. And even in my time at the Royal College, I always felt both encouraged to pursue new, and also I felt like I had the ability to draw on the experiences of the past, the lessons of the past, and all of the great resources that we have here. So, for example, my composition classes, I studied composition here as well as violin. We would often explore modern music, classical music, romantic period, just a real variety of different things. And it was fascinating every time to see just how connected all of these seemingly different entities were.
It's great to hear how the junior department acted as a springboard for all of your creative ideas.
Absolutely.
Could you tell us about where you see yourself going? What are your career aspirations? And actually, you've achieved so much already. Where else do you want to go?
Definitely. You know, I think there is always room to progress, both in the sense of sort of specific practical career aspirations from growing your name, reaching more people, but also from a creative perspective. I think that as I have matured as a person and as an artist, I find myself increasingly drawn to some of the classical and other types of music that I studied back at RCM, and trying to incorporate them into my music. You know, I've had quite a variety of different things, from playing classical at RCM to composing contemporary atonal music and then going into pop. And I think that as I get older and I have more experience, I'm increasingly able to draw little elements of all of them and combine them. So I really hope in the future that I can take my music into a place where it is recognized and well known, but also where it's new, where it's groundbreaking, where it can push boundaries and blend things that you wouldn't naturally expect to see.
We're all really excited to see where you're headed. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Thank you so much.
And now let's move on to Rihanna. Now, Rihanna, you are a former JD student, but you have stayed on at the college, and we're very glad that you are now an undergraduate student with us. Could you tell us a bit more about you as a musician here at the college, and what sort of things you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, of course. So I'm actually in my 2nd year undergrad at the minute, and I play the flute and the saxophone. And this year's been great because it's really given me a chance to work on loads of different things and to kind of give me options for what I want to do in the future. So I'm currently studying jazz as a chosen module, which is just really insightful because I did jazz at the junior department with the big band there. So it was really nice to go from that to doing it at the senior college. That's just been a really good experience for me. And to kind of study it, to look at the harmony, etc., has just been really insightful for me with my sax playing. And on the flute, I'm currently working on some new repertoire, and I've just had a technical exam where we did scales and stuff like that. So it's just been a huge opportunity for me to do so much on both instruments. It's been absolutely great.
That's great to hear. And you've already touched on my second question, which is about what you have used from the junior department and you continue to use. And you mentioned jazz, and I think that tells us a lot about the diversity of the curriculum at the junior department level and the fact that it can introduce students to whole other aspects of music they might not have encountered before. Can you think of any other aspects that you encountered at the junior department that you're still using today?
Definitely. I think the junior department was always so amazing at helping me do the flute and the saxophone, so I could do so much. I had choir as well, I had big band, I had orchestral opportunities, and I think it really acted as like a springboard, as we said before, to kind of help me into the senior department, where it's the same kind of thing. So a lot of orchestral rehearsals, you have solo opportunities, and I think the junior department really helped me to like seamlessly move from one place to the other, so I'm really grateful for that, especially because if you needed one-to-one help, you could always ask someone for experience or advice, and that really, really helped me personally to kind of get advice on how to use the flute and the saxophone to give me a better opportunity in the future.
Yeah, and you very eloquently summed up the kind of how diverse the curriculum is and how it's very much about developing the all-round musician at junior department level. I'm really glad to hear that that's still something that you're able to pursue at senior level as well on the BMUS programme. So where are you going? Where would you like to develop in terms of your career aspirations?
Well, this is a difficult question because obviously doing the flute and the saxophone, there's loads of different options. So I'm currently trying to consider what I really want to do. And obviously I could become a soloist on either. I could do orchestral on either as well. Obviously it's less likely on the saxophone, but I'm currently swaying towards going into commercial shows or West End, which I think would be really good to kind of encompass both the flute and the saxophone and all of my skills, and maybe even the clarinet and other stuff like that. So I think it'd be really good to kind of encompass both of my instruments and move into that kind of thing.
That's really great to hear, and it sounds like you're developing a real sense of versatility that I'm sure will take you really far as a professional musician. Now, I've got one final question for all of you, and it's about a very memorable moment. What's your favourite moment that you can remember from the junior department? So I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's start with Jackie.
I think one of my best moments has just been the ability to work with other people, especially the first time I got one of my pieces performed. I thought it was amazing because just hearing your own music come out of the page really gave me kind of new directions, gave me new advice on how to make my music better. I think that opportunity has been consistent through the years I've been here. Also, I really enjoy my chamber music and all of that because it's just enjoyable to make music with others. And I think one of the most memorable things about that is performing with other people, and I think that's been very enjoyable as well.
Yeah. So yet again, we're coming back to this sense of the really close community and what we can learn from other musicians. And the junior department is such an important hub of activity for that type of learning. So thank you, Jackie. Let's move on to you, Dennis.
Sure. So, I mean, there are so many fantastic experiences at RCM. Definitely what you said, hearing my composition performed for the first time in real life by real instruments was incredible. And the community aspects of it, the musicianship, collaboration is great. And there's so many everyday experiences that are fantastic. You know, seeing your friends between classes when you're all out of breath trying to get to the next one, just catching up, having incredible moments of performance with an orchestra looking out and everyone is there with you is fantastic. But I think one that I'd like to pick out, just because it was quite a unique experience, was when one day in quartet, we all started improvising a quartet piece to actually a Dr. Dre song, which you wouldn't necessarily expect to happen at the Royal College of Music, but it did, and it was quite fantastic, so yeah.
Excellent. I would have loved to have been there. Thank you. And Rihanna, finally.
So I actually have many memorable moments about the college, but I think I'll mention two. So my first is the fact that I actually was able to perform at the Royal Albert Hall in my own recital, which was just an amazing opportunity. And I was allowed to play the flute and the saxophone, which was just great. And then my second is that my flute teacher, she actually used to hold her own concerts, and she would choose a theme, so it could be animals, nature, that kind of thing. And then on my last year, she actually said that I could choose the theme, and I chose colours, and I got to play my favourite piece, which was just great.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you tonight for sharing with us your experiences of the junior department. I think what we've seen from these testimonials is that the junior department is a really special place that offers really valuable opportunities for our junior students. Thank you so much to our supporters for helping to continue this work at junior department level and for helping to support the next generation of musicians. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Vanessa Latache. I'm Head of Keyboard and Associate Director for Partnerships in China at the Royal College of Music here in London. I'm here this evening to introduce to you one of the shining stars from our Royal College of Music Junior Department, pianist Jackie Zhang. Before I do that, firstly, I would like to say a very big thank you to you for your generous sponsorship, for your donations that go towards giving access to our gifted students to some of the best facilities in the world and the best teaching in the world. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Jackie is going to play two fairy tales by Nikolai Metner. Metner being a Russian soul, very much a Russian traditionalist, but with Germanic elements in his writing. The spirit of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales are very evident in these works. And in Metner's fairy tales in general, there are really the most inspirational writing that Metner did for us. These two pieces, first of which it starts allegro con espressione, lively with expression, is really in the character of overwhelming grief, and the climax con disperazione, with despair, is very soul-searching. The second one, Campanella, not in the Lisztian tradition that we know of bells, but very much in Metner's footnote, as he says, these bells, it's not a piece about the bells, but it's a story told by bells, a story of calamity and terror. So here to play these Dve Сказки by Nikolai Metner, Opus 20, is Jackie Zhang.
Thank you, Jackie Chang, for that wonderful performance. Metna and Fairy Tales are indeed an intoxicating cocktail. We really do have some amazing talent in the junior department. Thank you to all of our supporters for playing your part in securing the future of excellence in music. We're so very grateful for your membership of the wider RCM family. At the beginning of 2020, our ambitious plans were close to fulfillment, and we nearly achieved practical completion of our new buildings just as COVID-19 struck, the most significant disruption in our 140-year history. However, we remain resilient with your continued support. I look forward to welcoming you to our 2 new performance spaces, the new RCM Museum and the new cafe, very soon. Did you know that we have over 900 students from more than 50 countries? Our students receive a transformative and holistic education tailored to their individual needs. That is what differentiates us. We provide them with over 500 annual performances at the RCM and other venues around the world. We are a world-renowned and top institution for performing arts. Music making has never been more important, and we are committed to this worthy endeavour and reimagining our future. You'll be hearing more about the next stage of the campaign shortly from Lily. We still have much to do. We look forward to many more opportunities to enrich your relationship with us and our students, and we hope to be able to do this in person soon. I'd now like to welcome our distinguished alumnus, RCM Ambassador and Grammy Award-winning bass baritone, Gerald Finley.
Hello, I'm Gerald Finley, and I'm a baritone who works very hard on the opera stages of the world and sings with the greatest orchestras in concert. I am thrilled to be here with you tonight, and I'd just like to say that I'm very proud to be part of the RCM family. I'm a Fellow of the Royal College of Music and a visiting professor, so I do see what goes on day by day. And I'd just like to say that I think this is one of the greatest conservatoires in the world because it gives students wonderful opportunities to interact with professional artists like me and to encounter performing opportunities within the college in the greatest facilities that I think are possibly available in any conservatoire. Beautiful concert hall, a beautiful theatre, lots of practice rooms, and opportunities outside as well. It's a wonderful family to be part of, and I'm very proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald, for that very positive message. As Colin mentioned, due to COVID-19, we've had to reimagine our future. We've learned so much from working online, and we can look forward to even more global reach. Our work changes lives through performance, research, community initiatives, and global collaborations. But we can only do this with your support. Philanthropy has always been and will continue to be an essential part of what makes us number one. So with your help, we will support talent and ensure students and faculty have the equipment and instruments they need. We'll promote innovation and establish a dedicated performance research hub, and we will widen access to make music accessible through outreach and audience engagement. We cannot wait to welcome you back to the college in person to see and hear the highest quality teaching and music making in action. I'm delighted that tonight, for you, our special guests, we offer an exclusive preview to the new RCM Museum. But before we do, I would like to welcome the professor and head of Woodwind, Simon Channing, to introduce the next performance of the evening.
Hello everybody, my name is Simon Channing. I'm head of Woodwind here at the RCM, and I want to welcome you to this performance of Richard Strauss's wonderful Wind Serenade, which we're performing for you actually in the first week of term here at college. We're in the mid-April, and we've been here a week now rehearsing, and it's been so nice to be back. I think the students can hardly believe themselves that we're back rehearsing in college with the sun shining here in our beautiful concert hall and reading the headlines in the newspapers that universities in the rest of Britain are hoping to be back by the 17th of May, I think it is. So we feel so fortunate to be here. Before the performance of the Strauss, a couple of our students are going to talk to you a little bit, first of all, about how it's been for them during lockdown and what we've been doing in the woodwind faculty to keep our momentum, to keep our togetherness, and the range of classes we've been putting on for the students. And then another of our students is going to do a little introduction to the Strauss, tell you a little bit about the piece before you hear the performance, which I hope very much that you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Izzy Haley-Porteous and I'm a third-year undergraduate flautist, and I'm also a musicians company Lambert Scholar. During lockdown, we have had to adapt the way that we've continued with our studies at college, although I think it's been really exciting and I think I've been busier than ever. We've had so many different varying classes. One of the classes I've enjoyed the most was a wind sectional with Tim Lines, where we worked on intonation and we were actually able to play with each other over Zoom. And yes, it wasn't something that I expected to be able to do over lockdown, playing with other people, but it was a great achievement to be able to sort of continue our ensemble playing, even though we were spread across the country and around the world. And now over to Ella, who's going to give you some more information about tonight's performance.
Hello, my name is Ella York and I am a third-year oboist and I am a Douglas and Hilda Simmons Scholar. As Simon mentioned, we will be playing the Strauss Serenade in E-flat. It was composed in 1881 when Strauss was only 17 years old. It is a single movement work and it is incredibly lyrical. Strauss was often inspired by his father, who was a professional horn player, and I think this is evident in the recapitulation where the horns beautifully take on the melody. We have had lots of fun rehearsing this week. We've been rehearsing every day, and it's been so lovely after so many months to be back together playing in an ensemble again.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Gabriele Rossi Rognoni. I am Chair of Music and Material Culture and Curator of the Museum here at the Royal College of Music. It is a real pleasure to welcome you at our new museum, and indeed it is a great pleasure to have a museum to welcome you to, since the adventure that led us to these beautiful new spaces has been a long one and one that has only been possible thanks to the generous support of many of you. You may know that the RCM holds some of the most extensive and comprehensive collections anywhere in Britain that focus on music in general and modern British music in particular. These include some 2 million items, spanning from manuscripts and early editions to musical instruments, paintings, sculptures, and memorabilia. They are managed and made available through our library and museum, whose entrances have been brought together, facing each other, as part of the More Music redevelopment of the college. The museum in particular manages over 15,000 items, ranging from the mid-15th century to our days, including masterpieces such as the earliest surviving guitar in the world and the most famous portraits of Joseph Haydn and of the celebrated castrato singer Farinelli. These were on display since the 1970s in a dedicated museum, which was technologically very advanced at the time, but had become unfit for purpose after 40 years. The More Music project gave us the opportunity to rethink what the connection between the collections and the college could be, and of how the museum could better fulfill its role to expand the audiences that engage with our institution and to offer a richer and more fulfilling experience to our colleagues and students, offering something that is truly unique to our institution. The new vision for the museum is based on 4 pillars, each embedded in a dedicated space that has been created in our redevelopment. These are display in a permanent and a temporary exhibition gallery, education with a dedicated space in the Weston Discovery Center, performance in the climate-controlled performance studio, and research in the Wolfson Center in Music and Material Culture, a multifunctional space which is being completed as we speak. I look forward to showing you around our new spaces as soon as this becomes physically possible. But in the meanwhile, we can enjoy a brief preview of what our new museum has to offer. The most striking space in our new museum is our permanent display. Designed by ZMMA architects, it includes about 60 objects that cover more than 500 years of music. We want our display to talk about music as well as about musical objects. And for this reason, we articulated the display in 3 areas which focus on the 3 dimensions of creation and creativity, craft, and performance. The first one, which presents the appearance and impact of new ideas, includes some of the most outstanding musical instruments from our collection. This instrument, known as a claviceterium, was made in the mid-15th century, and it is the earliest keyboard instrument with strings known to survive today, with its almost 600 years of age. It was bought in the late 19th century by Sir George Donaldson, an art dealer and collector, who donated over 200 instruments to the college in 1894, at the time when this building was inaugurated, to be displayed in the purpose-built Donaldson Room, which is today the library reading room. Although we cannot listen to the sound of this instrument due to its age and fragility, its voice can be heard through a copy, which was commissioned by the college in the 1970s and is by now a historical piece in its own right. Sound is obviously a key element in the objects that we display in this museum, and including sound in the display has been one of our greatest challenges. As many as possible of the instruments that we have in our collections are kept in playing conditions and will be made available for performances and for teaching to our students. However, this is not possible for all of them, and certainly not throughout the extensive opening hours that we are planning for this space. Therefore, video recordings of the instruments will be available throughout handheld devices, projections, and interactive screens, as well as through live performances, aiming to give our visitors a truly multisensory and interactive experience. A highlight from the collection is this couple of instruments made in Venice in the late 16th century. They are an outstanding example of how music and the visual arts come together sometimes to increase each other's beauty and mesmerize all senses. This harpsichord, made by Alessandro Trasuntino in 1531, is decorated with a beautiful painting inspired by Tiziano. However, while it was until recently believed to be a 19th century reproduction, we now know that it also dates from the mid-16th century, painted just a few decades after the instrument was made. These emerged following extensive scientific analysis, which was undertaken as part of the conservation campaign coordinated by Susana Caldeira during the redevelopment of the museum. Her work transformed the appearance of many of the instruments on display. Our ambition for this museum is to tell a story that is built on a glorious past, but that continues towards the present and future of music. This project has given us the unique opportunity to do this through the acquisition and commissioning of original works of art. One of them is the beautiful sculpture created by Victoria Morton, which is hung above our performance area and was selected in collaboration with the Contemporary Art Society and realized thanks to the support of Dasha Schenkman. This idea will very much lead the many activities that we are planning for the future, including temporary exhibitions, workshops with schools, families, home-educated children, and visitors with special needs, and an intense program of performances on and around our collections. Many of these activities have been planned and tested over the past years, but several more will spontaneously develop in the first months of activity. This museum has been conceived to be a vital and lively space, to be enjoyed by our students and colleagues as much as by external visitors. It will be a space to connect, relax, learn in an inspiring atmosphere, such as that in the Erstreist Learning Area, or elsewhere in the college, such as in the Rena and Sandro Lavery Gallery. I wish to thank you for your support to this evening and the More Music campaign, and I hope that you'll continue on this journey with us for years to come. And now, I am delighted to share with you the first performance recorded in the museum, especially for this occasion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ashley Solomon, Chair and Head of Historical Performance here at the Royal College of Music. And I'd like to welcome you to this new inspiring space at the Royal College of Music, our wonderful museum, where this evening we're going to present for you a short piece by the Venetian 17th century composer Barbara Strozzi. Perhaps not so well known, but at the time she was famous for being an outstanding soprano, also quite a good lutenist, but remarkably a fantastic composer who composed and published more music than anyone else in the early 17th century. Perhaps it's interesting that her father as a poet meant that the words and text were really important, almost as important to her as the music. And while you listen to the text of this lament, don't be surprised by some of the extraordinary harmonies that she introduces to her music. That's not our musicians playing the wrong chords, that's what she demanded. Very much the case that painting the emotion of the text through the music. I'm delighted that we have two of our students performing tonight, Tom Dewey on the chamber organ and Danny Murphy on the theorbo, and especially pleased to welcome back Rowan Pierce, who graduated in 2017 with the President's Prize, which was awarded to her by His Royal Highness Prince Charles.
My job as director is to help connect the past, the present, and the future. The new museum is central to that. Why learn musical history from dry academic textbooks? The exquisite songs from Barbara Strozzi are a reminder of her remarkable reputation as composer and singer, and as a 17th century role model. The Strauss Serenade provides a brief glimpse of our world-class woodwind faculty and its inspirational director, Simon Channing. Thank you once again for joining us this evening and for your continued support. We hope you've enjoyed the More Music Virtual Gala. Performing together like an orchestra, colleagues at the RCM have made tonight's event possible with dedication and teamwork. And I'd like to thank them for all their creativity, hard work, and enthusiasm. I'd also like to thank members of council and all of our leadership volunteers for their unwavering support. A special thanks to Chairman of the More Music campaign, Jeff Richards, who sponsored the gala. As a result, 100% of your donation tonight goes directly to the cause. Before the final performance of the evening, Lily will announce the winners of the raffle. Drum roll, please.
Well, this is a very exciting part of the evening, and I'm going to invite my colleague Karis, who helped organize this evening, hand me the golden envelope with the names inside of those of you who've won the raffle. First goes to Liz Thornburn. Second to Eleanor Vallée. Third to Mark Bolland. Fourth, Clara Weatherall. And fifth, Peter Dart. So thank you for participating in the raffle. Sam and Karis will be contacting you very soon about your prizes, and we hope you've enjoyed this special evening. Now, before I hand over to our head of strings, Professor Mark Messenger, to introduce the final performance of the evening, I am delighted to introduce alumna and RCM ambassador, mezzo-soprano Dame Sarah Connolly. Thank you and good night.
Good evening. My name is Dame Sarah Connolly. I think the Royal College of Music is one of the greatest conservatoires in the world because of its extraordinary connections to the past and obviously continuing through to the present day. The connections I'm speaking of are the professors and the students who have attended the Royal College from the days of its beginnings with Stanford and Parry through to Helen Grime and Mark Turnage, and so many more in between. Of course, Ralph Vaughan Williams taught Ivor Gurney and Herbert Howells, as well as Stanford and his famous red pencil. And when we move through to Bridge and Bliss and so many who fell in the First World War, and Herbert Howells, of course, was professor there for most of his life. I was a piano student at the Royal College of Music, and I used to play for Hugh Bean's students as well as James Brown, violist. And I had the most extraordinary experience of playing for so many international students. We played everything from Vieux Temps through to Poulenc, Brahms, everything. But I particularly remember how wonderful it was to listen to Hugh Bean talk about Ralph Vaughan Williams' Lark Ascending to a Japanese student who had never come across this music before. And the way he demonstrated and explained the core of this piece and what it was about, in a way that this student understood. It wasn't too technical, it was about the feeling and the spirit of the piece. And the transformation from the minute he walked in the door to the minute he left was extraordinary. And I watched these developments throughout my time there as an accompanist, which is what I preferred to do. I also played for singing teachers and as many people I could play for as possible. Later on, Sir David Wilcox persuaded me to become a singer, and the opportunities for singers to understand what's required of them is extraordinary. And I pop in now and again and see the developments coming from the Royal College of Music and where they're going. It's absolutely extraordinary. And the team at the Royal College of Music from the junior department and the support that you give to these students makes such a difference in these very difficult times. I would also like to add, as somebody who is a Baroque specialist, or was, still am, is that the museum and the library houses the greatest collection of historical instruments than any other educational institution. And they're very, very proud of what they can offer to the students to learn to play on. And I think that is a wonderful opportunity for students. So I'm very, very proud to be associated with this extraordinary lineage of greatness from the Royal College, and long may she continue under Colin Lawson and their extraordinary team of professors.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Messenger, and it's my privilege to be Head of Strings here at the Royal College of Music. About 10 days ago, we had our Super String Sunday, and the performers you see ranged behind me performed the Mendelssohn Octet in its entirety as the conclusion of that day. And our director, Lawson, described this performance as life-affirming. I'm sure you will agree when you hear it in a few minutes' time. But I think probably life-affirming applies also to the piece itself, this wonderful octet by Mendelssohn. If Mendelssohn were to have been a student at the Royal College of Music, at the age he wrote this octet, he would still have been in the junior department. So I think it's quite extraordinary to think that this piece came almost fully fledged into the world in the hands of a 16-year-old. I think life-affirming as well is what I've heard not only over the last few months here at the Royal College of Music, but indeed this very week. At the moment I'm involved in the examinations, the end-of-year exams, and I am amazed with every performer and every music-making activity that they share with us. After the lockdown and everything that we have gone through, I think it really is life-affirming that these young performers can stand up and share their music and perform with such commitment and such insight and such feeling and such passion. This is why the work of a place like the Royal College of Music is so important, and I think more important now than any other time. Performers now realize that not only do they have a responsibility to themselves, but they have a responsibility to society at large. The way that they share music is transformative to the people who listen to it. And those audiences now are hungrier than ever to hear great music performed by great artists. The support that you can give our students is crucial, not for the college, not for the students, but actually for all of us. We share in the life-changing endeavor that is the performance and the listening of music. I'm sure you will not be disappointed in tonight's performance of Mendelssohn Octet, and what a treat it is to hear it live in this Amaryllis Fleming Concert Hall. Thank you very much for your attendance.